National stories, weekly review, topics that affect our communities, in-depth analyses and opinions. All that you need is in one place. Weekly review. Sunday night at 9 on ViuTVSix. Dive into the world of endless possibilities.
We're gonna eat, we're gonna drink, we're gonna get tattooed.
The most mouth-watering food establishments.
Unbelievable.
The coolest microbreweries.
I need that so badly, man.
The edgiest tattoo parlors.
Look at them, damn it, they're amazing.
Out-of-the-box entertainment right in front of you. Food, booze, and tattoo. Sunday at 12 midnight on Channel 96 ViuTV6.
Good evening, I'm Britt Clennett in Hong Kong and welcome to ViuTV News. Coming up on tonight's show. Top court gives student leaders green light to appeal against jail sentences for storming Civic Square. Carrie Lam brushes off concern over national anthem law. She says it'll only apply to people who deliberately disrespect the song. And Donald Trump strikes a more conciliatory tone over North Korea standoff. Hong Kong's top court has given the three Occupy student leaders permission to appeal against their jail terms for storming Civic Square back in 2014. That's after it said points raised by the defence merit future discussion and that the appeals involve issues of substantial and grave injustices. In the appeal applications, the defence lawyers raised 4 particular points. That included whether the sentencing court had a right to reverse or supplement facts that were made at the trial in passing down harsher punishments. They also questioned whether the court took into account trio's motives. Joshua Wong, Nathan Law and Alex Chow were in August sentenced to between 6 to 8 months in jail after the government ordered a review of non-custodial sentences, which they'd already served.
Well, the world is having their eyes on us to see whether the judges and our legal professional could restore the confidence of the level of our jurisdiction, or whether it will again smash the confidence of the people, not only in Hong Kong but also around the world. So I guess the verdict they will be giving in the future, that would really matter a lot and would redefine whether our constitution, the basic law, would value civil liberty more or control and stability claimed by the government more.
The chief executive says people shouldn't worry about unintentionally breaking the national anthem law because it would only punish those who deliberately disrespect the song. Speaking ahead of the weekly EXCO meeting, Carrie Lam also reiterated that the law can't be applied retrospectively. She said she'd pursue a bill on the matter at LegCo before next July, and there'll be consultation during the legislative process. But local deputy to China's top legislative body, Rita Fan, says there's no need for public consultation and that the government should get options from district councils if it wants to. She also urged Hong Kongers to use their common sense to understand the law.
I can't see how it could be related to the city's creative freedom and the freedom of expression, but this reflects a phenomenon in Hong Kong. In recent years, when we discuss every affair involving Hong Kong and the mainland, or the local and central government, it seems that some people wanted to use unnecessary words to create fears in society.
And here's a quick look at some other local headlines now. Here's another solution to boost land supply and solve the city's housing woes: land reclamation. That's according to the city's Land Search Committee, who said findings suggest this proposal can provide around 1,000 hectares of land. Following the group's third meeting, Chairman Stanley Wong said members back the idea of reclaiming land at 5 different bays, including Lung Kwu Tan and Sunny Bay. The group also agrees to land reclamation projects in the waters around Lantau and Hong Kong Island to develop the East Lantau metropolis. The ex-police officer accused of hitting a pedestrian with his baton during the Occupy protest says the alleged victim lied about his injuries. Frankly, Chu said Osman Chung posted details about the injury on social media but never informed police or doctors about it. Hitting back, Chung said he didn't tell them because he felt a lot better after a night of rest. Prosecutors will summon his doctor to the court later. Police have arrested a man accused of reckless driving and drug possession after his car hit 7 vehicles around Wong Tai Sin and Kwun Tong. A taxi driver claimed he was injured and was sent to hospital for treatment. Officers arrested the man at Lam Tin MTR after he abandoned his car and tried to escape. He's also been charged with falsifying his number plate. Travel agency WWPK was forced to shut down its website after hackers attacked its customer database and blackmailed the company. Fears are its clients' personal information, including ID card, passport and credit card details, could be at risk. The company says it's stepping up its cybersecurity efforts and contacting people who may be affected. The Cybersecurity and Technology Crime Bureau is investigating the extortion case. US President Donald Trump stepped directly into the shadow of the North Korean standoff as he landed in Seoul for the next stop of his tour of Asia. Following a meeting with the South Korean president, Trump warned that the US is prepared to use military power to protect itself and its allies. However, he also issued a more conciliatory appeal to Pyongyang.
We hope, in fact, I'll go a step further, we hope to God we never have to use. With that being said, I really believe that it makes sense for North Korea to come to the table and to make a deal that's good for the people of North Korea and the people of the world. We will together confront North Korea's actions and prevent the North Korean dictator from threatening millions of innocent lives.
And for more on Trump's visit to South Korea, here's our correspondent Joseph Kim in Seoul.
It's Donald Trump's first visit to South Korea since getting into office, and the first state visit by an American president in 25 years. But as you can see around me, the reception to his arrival is filled with mixed emotions. South Koreans have been protesting throughout the weekend, some against Donald Trump, calling for peace on the Korean peninsula, while other groups have been rallying in support of Trump, calling for more stern measures against Pyongyang. North Korea will likely be the focus of the bilateral summit between Trump and South Korean President Moon Jae-in here in Seoul. Moon has called for a diplomatic solution to Pyongyang, and while this has been echoed by officials within Trump's administration, Trump himself has combated North Korea using his words, including threats of a military strike. And as expected, North Korea, through its state media, had a different take on Trump's visit to Asia, condemning the U.S. for raising tensions and vowing to strengthen its nuclear deterrence.
In a dramatic twist to the crisis threatening to rock the region, Saudi Arabia has accused Lebanon of declaring war against it because of aggression by the Iran-backed Lebanese Shiite group Hezbollah. Saudi Gulf Affairs Minister Thama al-Sabhan said the Lebanese government would be dealt with as a government declaring war on Saudi Arabia. He took aim at the Harari-led administration for failing to take action against Hezbollah during a year in office. In an interview with Al Arabiya TV, he added, Lebanese must all know these risks and work to fix matters before they reach the point of no return. At least 2 people have been killed in the latest assault on media workers in Afghanistan. Islamic State has claimed responsibility for the attack, which saw gunmen disguised as police killing a security guard and opening fire on staff at Shamshed TV. Authorities killed at least 2 attackers after arriving at the scene. In a statement on its news agency Amaq, Islamic State claimed responsibility without giving evidence. All right, and well, it's time now for business. Well, it was a banger of a session here in Hong Kong today. A change of pace, certainly from the up and down we saw yesterday. The HSI added 1.39%, thanks in large part to tech shares, which have continued a recent strong performance. We're now sitting at a 10-year high, thanks to support from growing global optimism. The question, of course, for many is how long the global bull rally can continue. One of the biggest share offerings of the year could be one of the most expensive. Tencent today confirmed the IPO of its publishing arm, China Literature, will be $55 a share. The company is similar to Amazon's Kindle store, with a platform that contains 9.6 million literary works from 6.4 million authors. Tencent says the market capitalization or total value of its shares will be almost $50 billion when it begins trading tomorrow. Another huge Hong Kong IPO is also in the pipeline, with tech firm Razer poised to raise $4.12 billion when it lists here next week. The 10% of shares available for retail investors has been heavily oversubscribed, including institutional investors who have already offered $34.5 billion worth of capital. The company has attracted demand of more than 80 times the number of shares on offer. Well, the US media market could be bracing itself for a shake-up. Meanwhile, reports late yesterday said Rupert Murdoch's 21st Century Fox has been discussing selling most of its film and television assets to Walt Disney. The deal would see Disney gain new programming and expand its international reach as it tries to adapt it to consumer migration to digital viewing, as well as heavy spending by tech companies like Netflix and Amazon. Disney wouldn't buy Fox's sport network, Fox News rather, or Fox's broadcast network, or local broadcasting affiliates. The news prompted a 2% jump in its shares and an almost 10% rise in Fox stock. Britain will today begin formal plans to legislate an independent trade policy to use once it leaves the European Union. The bill will continue provisions to help the UK convert existing EU free trade agreements into British ones. It comes just a day after Prime Minister Theresa May assured business leaders the government is committed to securing a transitional deal once EU withdrawal begins. Ciara Lee has more.
Facing the group arguably most concerned about a cliff-edge departure from the EU, Britain's business leaders. Taking to the stage of the Confederation of British Industry, Prime Minister Theresa May sought to calm the waters.
We should be excited by the possibilities which this new relationship presents for the future. So as we look ahead to the next 10 years of Britain's economy, we should do so as rational optimists. There are huge opportunities ahead.
But business leaders are rattled by the slow progress of Brexit negotiations and have been pressing for months for more details about what a transitional trade deal would actually look like.
We need to get full agreement that this is something that will happen, and then we'll need to negotiate the details. Of course, some of those details, you need to know what the end state is, what that future partnership is, because this is about practical change. Businesses should be able to have the comfort of knowing they'll be able to operate on the current same basis as they currently can during that implementation period.
Driving concerns, though, new car registration